Hello everybody and welcome back to the for loop. And it's been a couple of weeks since I put up a video, but I've actually been doing some research. I've been wanting to do a series dealing with databases, and so I've been trying to decide which is the right database for me to use for my computer, and I don't really want to spend a bunch of money, so I need to find a good free one. And also I got to know my stuff if I'm going to want to put it online, so it's taken me a little bit of time, but I think I got something together that we can start with here. And so, like I said, after some research, I decided to go with the database MySQL just because it seemed to be pretty popular. And you can download it, install it here. So we'll just go MySQL download, and it'll take you through a few steps and ask you what browser, or what operating system you have. I chose community server, and you can go down here, and so I picked my operating system, Mac OS X, and then of course you have your options, and I think I chose this 64-bit DMG file, and I went ahead and downloaded it, and I'm not going to download it here because obviously I already did it, so I don't need to. So anyways, if you need to pause the video or just come back to it, go ahead and download it, and you should be able to download and then just install it based on your operating system, and then come back. So by now, hopefully you paused the video and you've downloaded it, installed it, and I'm going to go ahead and go up here and search for MySQL on my system and open it up. So as you can see, all I did was open the application, and this is all that their application is. The database is actually on your system, so you can't really access it with a top layer without downloading another application like some interface that you can deal with your database. I feel like I'm not explaining that quite right, but anyways, most all you can do right now just with downloading MySQL is we can only deal with it in the terminal. So everything we do in this tutorial is all going to be terminal based, just to get an idea of what it is and how it functions. Anyways, you need to click this Start MySQL Server button, and that'll start it up. And then we don't need this anymore, so I'll close it down. I'm actually going to open up my terminal here and pull it down here. Okay, make it big so you guys can. It doesn't change it. So let's just go through a few quick syntax things of terminal. Syntax number one: if you type clear, it clears the whole console. So you can type a bunch of junk, and obviously I typed something that I liked there. Oh well. And then you can type clear, and it'll clear out your screen. If you want to see your commands that you've typed in this session, just type history and clear it out. And let's see, what else can you do? Oh, if you want to, right now, so all your terminal is it listens to any command that you give it, and if it understands what you say, then it's going to execute that on your system. So you can open files, open applications on your system by typing syntax. I don't remember what syntax it is. It might be like sudo or save. I don't remember. Anyways, you can essentially do anything from the terminal that you can do on your system, or most things. So one main thing that people like to do in terminals, of course, is go through their files. And so you have to tell it, like, I want to open this file, and then it'll say, well, how do I get there? Well, you have to go, well, it's in my C. If you're a Windows user, it's my C drive, and then maybe users, and then my name, and then maybe documents, whatever. And if a Mac, you would say maybe like user, application, I don't know, desktop. Anyways, this is CD, which means change directory, which means right now we're functioning the most top level directory. So if I wanted to open a file that was called myfile.txt, just a text file, and open it up, it's not going to work because it doesn't know where my file is. So we have to change the directory and tell it where we want to go. So to get to MySQL for my Mac where I installed it, so you'll need to know where you installed MySQL or MySQL, and I think this was the default location. So you might want to use that if you defaulted it on your Mac. anyways, there it is. Now we're in that exact file path. So now we are in user.local.mysql bin, and you can see what's inside of it by ls, and so that's a little shortcut. So these are all the things that are in that directory there. So if you wanted to see like what was in your home directory, like your top level, you do cd, and then this tilde means go back to your home directory, and you can ls, and you can see all these things that are on your top level directory. But I want to go back to this directory, and I can just highlight it, and I believe no, I can do. I'm just going to push up on the arrow pad, so up, 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 and it takes you back up to the. You just keep going. As you can see, it goes through all your commands. So I'd push it 4 times, I think. Anyways, so I'm back in that directory. So here I am. And if you want to execute your application, or in this case, it's going to be, where's mysql? There it is, right there. That's what we're going to execute. So we want to go into there. So you just do /mysql, and then it's going to say, well, I want your username, because it's not going to let you into the database without a username, because it's safe, you know. So -u is user, and we're just going to be root, and we don't have to put a password. If you did have to put a password, you just put -p and then your password after it. Or what you really want to do is -p and then just hit enter, and it'll ask you for a password. And then I'll just show you. There we go. Now we're connected as root. And let's say we want to quit, so I'm just going to do quit. Oh. Quit. Okay. So now we're back into our directory. We should be. Yeah. So we do /mysql, and then we'll do -u user, and then -p. And if you don't give it a password, it'll ask you for it. So you enter password. Well, root password is, oh, I typed in the wrong thing. Let's quit again. Okay, so what I should be typing is .mysql. I should be typing root. You know what? Let's just clear this up. /mysql, and we want to sign in as the root user. So root, and then -p. And there's no password. So now we're in. And the root user is the administrator, so we get all privileges here. And we can create more users. We can see all the databases. We can see all the tables. And so let's just go through a few things here. I'm going to show you this little hotkey or shortcut, /h, and that's going to show us our shortcut menu. So if you type /h, you can see all these shortcuts. And some of the ones you might use are like print. So when we go typing in a giant SQL statement and we just kind of want to read over it, we can do /p and read over it before we decide to execute it. This /q is going to let us quit MySQL. Let's see, what else do we have? This glow is clear. This is also another one for help. Anyways, you guys can read through this and kind of get a feel for all the different shortcut keys and what you kind of the stuff that you can do. So obviously you can either type this or you can type /g for this. So these guys are the same thing. So help is the same thing as /h. Anyways, let's go on. So when we're inside of MySQL, we want to end all of our commands with the semicolon, because let's say we're writing query users. I don't know if that's a table or not. But anyways, if you just push enter, it gives you a new line, but it doesn't execute anything. Because sometimes if you're writing a big query, like a big where statement, where this is that, this isn't syntax. Let's say this would be more like the syntax, where this, where ID equals 1, and then we'll say maybe and name equals blah. Who's never named like that? It'll just keep giving you a new line. You want to do like order by ID, and then when you end up by semicolon, then that's the end of the statement, and it'll execute it. And it gave me an error there because it doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I think you guys do, so that's what's important. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to look at what's inside of our MySQL. So first of all, we have databases. So we want to show databases, semicolon. So there's our databases inside of the, let's clear it. Clear, oh, it didn't clear, did it? Okay, whatever. Let's see. Clear the current, oh, so /c just clears your input statement. Okay, it doesn't clear the screen. Oh well, we're fine. So these are our current databases. We have test, we have performance schema, MySQL, and information schema. And the way you get into one of them is you just say use, and we'll go with test. It's one I made earlier, just playing around. So we'll use test, so it changes your database. And then we can look at our tables by show tables. So these are the tables inside of test. There's only one, it's called test1. And if you want to see what's in test1, you could say describe test1. And there it is. Test1 has an ID, has a name, has an age, has a height. Alright, no big deal. Now there's a little more information that we'll go over later on. But I want to keep this fairly basic, and I want to kind of keep it to the syntax to the terminal, not necessarily break into the SQL yet. So let's do one more thing. We'll drop our tables and create a new database and a new table, and then I think I'll be done. So let's start by dropping my table. So we'll drop test1. Drop table test1. There we go. So there we go. Now when we show tables, there's nothing in there. So it says empty set. So we have no tables in the database, and so what we can do now is drop database test. And you can actually drop the database before you drop table, but I just wanted to show you that you could drop tables as well. So there we go, dropped our table. Now if you show our databases, we can see that test is now gone. We can no longer use it. We can actually use MySQL. You want to see what's inside of it? Show tables. You can see there's quite a few tables in MySQL. So good deal. Let's go ahead and create our database back. So this is the syntax. Create database test. Let's just call it my database actually. My database. There we go. Show databases just to check our work. And there it is. So let's use my database. Okay. Now there's actually quite a bit of syntax that goes into creating a table, so I'm going to save that for next. I'd like to wrap this up in a couple minutes, so I'm going to show you one more thing here, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video. So I'm going to show you how to create a user and how to give it all privileges is what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and say grant all on my database dot star. Now what dot star means is the tables inside of my database. So as you can see up here, MySQL has multiple tables. So let's say you just wanted to give someone access to one or two tables in MySQL. You would do mysql.event, and that would only give him access to this event table. And then you could, on the next line, do the next table, and then the next table, and the next table. But what I want to do is give all the privileges of my database to this user, so .star. And as you'll learn doing SQL and such, star is generally a wildcard for all. So whenever you see a star like that, it generally means all. And then two, we're going to name our user, so user1. And then it's going to ask you, it wants to know what host this is on. Generally, your big databases at work or whatever are going to be on multiple, could be on different servers. And those will all be on your local intranet. And if you don't know what I mean, don't worry about it. The simple explanation for a server is a computer brain. Not every server has a monitor, like a screen you can look at and view. you think of just the brains of your computer without a monitor, that's pretty much a server. They're generally, when you talk about servers, you're talking about something that's quite a bit faster and really tuned to handle the processes of big businesses and such, and not worry about like graphics and organization of your apps and stuff like that, because no one's ever really going to look at it on a screen like this. You generally access servers on terminals. Localhost means this server, and localhost essentially means whichever computer that you're working on right now. So localhost means my computer, and if you're wondering, yes, your computer can be a server. However, you won't be able to access your computer if your computer is off. So if you're trying to access this database from like another computer somehow, you won't be able to access it unless this computer's on. Anyways, that's not necessarily my forte, and there's a lot of explanations that go into that, so let's just keep going here. So password, we need to set the password. So pass. Okay, so that's it. And this is going to automatically generate user 1. So, wait, hold on here. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. User 1, local host. There we go. So that sets up our user. Oops, semicolon. And then we're going to set the password. Go. So that's going to set up our password for that user. And I can't forget. Forgot a guy there. Okay. So that should do it. There we go. So now we have set up a new user. So let's go ahead and quit. And then let's try signing in with our new user. So /mysql. And then .u is going to be user1, and then we're going to say -p, and we're not going to put in our password because someone can come in and type history and see what our password is. So it's going to ask us for our password. We're going to type user pass, and there we go. We're in, and let's show databases real quick before I quit. Databases, and you can see. I can see this information schema, and that just kind of goes out to all users. But the only database I can see is my database. And why is that? Because the admin, or the root user, only gave me access to my database.star. And there's no tables in there, so I can't really show you that I have access to all the tables. But I think that's pretty easy to understand. And also, I just wanted to point out that we don't have access to these other 2 databases. So you can kind of see how to be a database admin, which is kind of fun. Anyways, you feel like you got the power. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.